Good morning, afternoon, and evening, guys. You're locked into Conscious Minds TV, and this is the Cotch with D.V.G, and this is episode 7. And today, my very special guest is Erik Schellekens, and we're going to be talking about some very interesting subjects like pyramids, magnetism, Fibonacci, the golden ratio, and the emerald tablets. How's it going, brother?
Yeah, doing very well. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. Means a lot. I've been checking out your work, and I can see you've got extensive knowledge in these subjects, so it should be a good show today. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Before we get into the main subjects, just let the people know where they can look at your work you present online, at Facebook or Instagram or any groups you have on Facebook. Just let the listeners know where they can check your stuff out.
Yeah, at this moment it's only Facebook. I have my own personal site, Erik Schellekens,
Yeah.
which and Pyramid Mathematicians and Wizards, which is also a Facebook site.
Okay. Um, at what point did you start looking into these kind of subjects? Was it anything to do with your career, or was it a specific event that happened that made you look into these kind of esoteric subjects? Because with all the people I interview, it's usually a defining moment in their life. So it will be good to get a bit of background before we get into the main discussion.
Yeah, maybe it didn't start directly with the subjects that we are discussing this evening.
Yeah.
Of course, it was my awakening, and which I started about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
In my case, it was 9/11, which I started to investigate,
Yeah.
going through all of the different false flags and things that aren't corresponding with the news, etc.
Yeah.
You want to have answers, and for me it was very simple. If you want to have answers, and you have people lying nowadays, you have to find them in the past.
Definitely.
And that's why I start looking at megalithic sites and megalithic structures, etc.
Okay. Yeah, I would say my one was about end of 2013, 2014, myself as well. I started looking into deeper subjects as well. Obviously, like most people, I watched, Zeitgeist and Cymatica, the documentaries.
Yes.
So they were kind of my kickstart of getting into these type of subjects. So, and also, I've noticed as well, speaking to a lot of people, it's ever since the whole, since December 2012, like, where we're shifting into the age of Aquarius, there's also been how can I say, it's like, it's given people a push to look into more deeper stuff, and I've noticed that a lot with my guests as well, and when I've been on other people's shows.
Yes, I think we're changing in frequency and getting some kind of upgrade.
Definitely. Okay, so the first subject, if you want, we can touch into is the pyramids. I mean, I've looked into this subject all throughout my research from when I first started to now, and there's many different, how can I say, views and opinions on how they were built, when they were built. Some people in mainstream science, they claimed that they were like tombs for the pharaohs, but in more esoteric stuff they say like they're aligned with certain constellations and stuff. What is your opinion, or what knowledge do you have on how old the pyramids actually are?
To be honest, I'm not able to say how old they
Yeah.
are. I don't think anybody is able to
Yeah.
do so. You can't measure it. You can only work with the data that is available and which is fixed and immutable.
Yeah.
Like for example GPS coordinates and dimensions, its form, etc. Those are fixed values.
Yeah.
Everything which you can measure. For me, the pyramids are kind of special. I The thing is, I started in the past mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
We receive a special kind of mathematics, 360 degrees radian-based mathematics. We receive trigonometry, algebra, number theory, all the different types of mathematics, geometry, of course, we receive. When I started working on decoding the pyramids, I saw that they were made on via on engineering base. So I knew the signature. I've studied exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I was in a very big I had a very big advantage.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to study the data first. The strange thing is that I didn't know where I received the information and knowledge, because I totally forgot that I studied 2 years of engineering. So very strange. But yeah, for me it was connecting to something which was old, which I could work with, and mathematics doesn't lie.
Yep.
It is a universal language. You can ask it anything, and you always get a correct answer.
Definitely.
In this case, the geometry has been used by our ancestors to do decode information, or to code information. They are mathematical formulas which contain information which was left for us to decode.
Yeah, that's something I want to touch up on, because there's a photo that when I first spoke to you, there was a photo on your site where you had the measurements of the pyramid, and it was had about how I think the width was 11 and going up was 7. And I've been looking into like numbers and numerology, and they were saying how like 7 and 11 are numbers of mystery, and also these numbers can't be constructed with a straight edge. Do you know anything about that topic, or can you elaborate on that?
7-11, yeah, it's very big, to be honest.
Yeah.
You can
Do a whole show on it.
The whole show.
Yeah.
But to start with, most people think that September 11 is 9/11.
See, this is exactly where I wanted to go. Sorry, carry on, brother.
September, sept is 7.
Yeah, that's why October is also the 8th month, and November the 9th.
Yes, and it goes up.
Yeah.
So our calendar has been changed. There has been an anti-harmonic medieval. I don't know what they call it. They've been They've been trying to change our harmonics.
It's almost out of sync, isn't it?
It is exactly to get us out of sync.
Yeah.
That's also why they changed the frequency in the music from 440 to 432.
Yeah.
That's why they changed the starting of the week, because on Sunday is the start of the week.
Yep.
Sabbath is the 7th day.
Yep.
Yeah. When Sabbath, if you take a sabbatical year, it means you take a year off. 7 in Hebrew means Sabbath. So Saturday is the 7th day.
Yep, definitely.
The Bible states clearly, then came the evening, then came the morning. That's the first day.
Yep.
Our day and night start in our time nowadays. It seems they start at the same time. If you ask somebody what time starts the day, it's 12 at night. But the night as well.
Yeah.
So everything has been done to get us out of sync, to get us out of harmony, to get us into disharmony.
Definitely.
These pyramids, they're instruments. They're mathematical equations as well as they're instruments.
Definitely. Also, brother,
yes,
I was reading up on how basically the reason why they built the pyramids is also because the pyramid shape can manipulate the torus field, and it creates more redshift. So they built it as like an energy source for the people to use. Do you know anything about this?
It is a temple of ascension. What it does, base to face, the ratio base to face, it's 1:5 approximately.
Yeah, 1/1.68.
Yes, correctly. That's the approximation. Everything is built in pi ratio. In pi.
Yeah.
All dimensions are in pi, but it's a phi approximation.
Yeah.
in this case, it is like an instrument. See it like you have the sound cases inside. Everything, the entire pyramid is built out of crystal, limestone. Limestone as a structure. It vibrates as one, as the entire pyramid vibrates as one, not as different blocks.
Yep.
It's coherent. It's completely coherent.
Yep.
And all its vibration is focused onto the sarcophage, which is inside the pyramid.
Yep.
Which also has they're working with a lot of it is music. It's harmonics.
Is it sonoluminescence? Is that what it is or not?
I think it is vibration. What it does is that the function of the Great Pyramid itself, it is to higher your own physical frequency with one power of Phi. Everything in this universe, it's powers of Phi.
Yeah.
So if you have one, it's Phi to the power 0.
Yeah.
Phi to the power 0 is 1. You want to have 8, and then you have 8 times Phi to the power 0.
Yeah.
All the sun is a Phi power. If you have Phi to the power 18, then you have the sun temperature, the photosphere.
Wow.
The part which is visible.
Wow. See, this is all new knowledge to me. This is why I love doing these shows and speaking to people. Because with me, like I've mentioned to you before,
yes,
I'm quite new into all this. So it's like I want to know everything. So I don't concentrate on one topic. I know bits of everything. But this is why I'm so happy to talk to you, because it's like you can just top up the bits that I don't know. So that's why I love connecting with people and exchanging ideas.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Also, in terms of the pyramid, you know, there's like chambers where it's said that they connect to certain star constellations like Orion and Sirius and Thuban and Polaris. But also, one thing I've noticed about like ancient cosmology and like their myths, there's a lot of connection also, not just to the cosmos, but within the Earth and like the subterranean. What's your knowledge on that subject?
As they say, is as above, so below.
Yeah.
We are the midplane. I always see us is in the numbers. I work a lot with numbers.
Yep.
If we are numbers 0 to 9.
Yep.
Sorry, 0 is not a number. It's a cipher. If we're 0 to 9, then we're number 5.
Yep.
Everything needs to be in balance. Everything in the end is in balance.
Yep. That's like why we've got 5 fingers on each hand and so on. And
yes, that's also why Phi is also originated from 5.
Oh wow, yeah, of course. Yeah.
If I have 5 to the power 0.5 times 0.5 plus 0.5, I have Phi.
Yeah. Wow.
Magnetism is also as a phase shift of Phi.
Yeah.
Electricity as well. Everything. Our own physical body has cell division and the Phi ratio.
Yeah. Is that why our bodies are not exactly symmetrical? Like one side's a bit different than the other.
To be honest, I'm not able to answer that question.
Okay, that's fair enough, brother. That's fair enough. Because I was looking into like how, you know, like if you put a line through the middle of someone's body, like when you look at someone's eyes, one is not the same size as the other.
Yes.
I was reading up how like that's also in relation to the Phi ratio, but I was just wondering if you had any knowledge regarding that.
No, I don't. No,
okay, that's not a problem, brother. Basically, you can take it onto if there's anything else you want to touch up on this subject that I haven't asked, you're more than welcome to, brother. If there's anything else you wanted to touch up on regarding the pyramids.
Yes, what is important, the pyramid itself, if we're talking about the Great Pyramids or the pyramids at the Giza Plateau, they of course form the same alignment as Orion's belt in the sky. They also want us to explain us in that way, as above, so below. The pyramids themselves, they are used as time capsules. Our ancestors wanted to use to leave us knowledge. Thoth claims in his Emerald Tablets very clear that he built the Great Pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of Earth Force, which is the Phi pattern. The pyramid itself, its location, the latitude of the pyramid itself.
Oh, that's I wanted to talk about that, like the ley lines and stuff like that, and also I've heard that. Again, I don't know how accurate this is, but this is just through me researching and stuff. How like, like where the river Nile is and stuff, and where the pyramids are. Apparently, it's got some correlation to like the pineal gland. Is there any truth behind that?
Not that I know of. No.
Okay. It's just again, it's just stuff that I've researched. That's why I like talking to other people, because again, you haven't heard of it, but I have. But again, I don't know the validity of the information. Do you get what I mean? But like you say,
maybe it is valid. Maybe it is a lack of my knowledge. Maybe it does connect a little bit. What I'm going to say is there is a grid on the Earth. To understand the grid, you always have to have a neutral point, a starting point, a prime meridian in this case. As you and I know that the Earth is flat.
Of course.
I've received polar coordinate systems at school to work with polar coordinate systems, also spherical trigonometry, etc. The Great Pyramid itself, it is the prime meridian marker. It tells us where, at this moment, the prime meridian runs over England.
The Greenwich Mean Time, isn't it? Is that the same meridian?
Yes. Yes. So that's not the correct one. Our ancestors didn't use that one. That's not how the grid works. That's also getting us out of the system again.
Okay.
The prime meridian runs exactly over the Great Pyramid. It's its marker. So that's the first information that the Great Pyramid wants to explain. The second thing is its latitude. It's almost at 30 degrees north of the equator.
Okay.
It's 29.9792458 degrees. It's the same number as the speed of light in a vacuum per meter per second.
Okay.
It's a decimal value because they understood this value. It's not that that the meter is something that we invented or thought up. No, it is an ancient system. It is a relic that we are still using. The same thing with the English system of foot and mile. It is not something that was thought up a few hundred years ago. It has existed, and our ancestors used it. Because the pyramid itself, the Great Pyramid, and all the other pyramids, their dimensions are in feet. So they wanted to give us the understanding, letting us know that they had this information, and also letting us know, making sure that we would find it someday. Thoth claimed he was the preserver of records and of knowledge, and that's what he did.
Thoth was also when there was a catastrophe in Atlantis, he went to Egypt, and I also found out that he was also the inspirer of all the great civilizations of like China and the Babylonians and the Mayans and stuff like that. Do you know stuff about that?
exactly as explained in the Emerald Tablets, that after Atlantis sank,
Yeah.
he went towards the morning sun. That's east.
Yeah.
East from the Atlantis Ocean is Africa. So it was logic that you would arrive in Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I've also seen stuff on how do you know? Have you seen stuff on like where they talk like in the Vedic cosmology, where they talk about like there's 7 planes above us and 7 planes below us, and the one below us is called Atala, and a lot of people claim that that is supposed to be Atlantis. But again, that's not stuff I can prove or I've seen. Again, it's just knowledge that I've come across. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Not about. I know about the 7 planes above,
Yeah.
like all the religions, of course.
Yeah.
The Emerald Tablets claim that there are 14 below, so that doesn't always correspond.
Yeah.
But the planes above always correspond. It's always 7.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Which subject would you like to move into next? Because obviously we're going to talk about magnetism, and we're going to talk a bit more about the Fibonacci and golden ratio. So
I think it's good to start with at this moment the Fibonacci sequence and the Lucas sequence, which is directly connected with each other.
Yep.
Because in the end, this hologram where we're all part of it works with numbers.
Yep.
It's not for any reason that the first 5 books of the Bible, which the Torah, one of the books, is called Numbers.
Oh, yep, that's right. Yep.
The book is written in Hebrew. Hebrew has numerology underneath it.
Wow, that's something I want to ask you about, actually, Erik. You know, right at the beginning of the Bible in Genesis, where it speaks about God had a son called Seth, and I think it said it was 900, and he lived a life which was 930 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, 930 comes to 12.
Yes.
I don't know if I haven't made the personal connection myself with that, but is there anything you can tell me about that?
No, not that particular number. There are a lot of numbers I'm working with, but
because that's something in in Genesis that's always interested me, where they're going through like the bloodline and they're saying he lived so and so 100 years and he lived so and so 100 years, and I've added up the numbers to see what it comes up in numerology to see if there's any pattern, but I haven't really found nothing apart from a couple of things. But I was just wondering if you have any knowledge on that side of stuff.
There are a lot of numbers in the Bible I have knowledge about.
Yeah.
The 144,000, for example.
Yeah.
Which is
that's the petals of the chakras all added up, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, as well. If you have the outside dimensions of the sarcophage of the in inches, the volume is for 144,000. The inside is exactly half, because it's if you double in a frequency, you go up 1 octave.
Yeah.
They play with octaves in the Great Pyramid itself. Wow. For example, where the room where the sarcophage is in, the king's chamber, the width and the length, it's 1 to 2. It's not octave.
Yeah.
So it's all octaves, and everything is or Phi-Ratios, everything. It's like it's fractal based built.
Okay.
The entire building.
Also, I was looking into more stuff about numbers, and they were saying how 3, 4, 6, and 8 are structural numbers that nature builds with, and 5 and 10 are numbers of life. And also, you know, you said you mentioned about like the 7-11 thing earlier. Well, I looked at that in like mythology and stuff. They say that 11 is the passageway between two great systems. Do you know much about that?
Uh, 11, it represents the two towers, the two pillars,
Yep.
the Boak and
Yep.
the Jakim. The passage is in the middle. That's what they show in all the alchemy and the second card of the tarot. It shows it as well.
Yep.
The So yes, the two towers themselves, the twin towers, they represented 11.
Yep.
11, the Romans were very fond of 11. The 11th month officially was January. Janus had two phases, one looking forward and one looking back.
Oh wow, yeah, that makes a lot of like as if like one. Oh wow, that makes a lot of sense. See, I never thought about that. Wow.
The twin towers both had 10 times 11 stories, so 111 stories.
Wow.
Both. So yes, if you take Lady Liberty, she has on her head 7 rays. She's standing on a socket with 11 rays.
Wow.
So it was all planned. They knew
Yeah.
about this.
Also, you know, I spoke to you briefly on your Facebook page about this. About you see this the 7-11 thing. Obviously, I watch a lot of people like Jordan Maxwell and like Santos Bonacci. They talk a lot about words and stuff.
Yes.
So the L also represents Saturn, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So and I know that Saturn exalts in Libra in astrology. So I was thinking that
Yes, but Saturn is Libra is in September.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So L even I was maybe thinking that L even could mean Saturn at the even point.
Yes.
And obviously
Saturn also rules. Why does he rule? Because in September it starts the harvest. It's the harvest month.
Yep.
We call it autumn or fall in English.
Yep.
On Dutch it's herfst.
What's
harvest.
That?
Herfst.
Ah.
You see the same, it's harvest.
Yeah, oh wow.
So it is harvest months. I think the 21st of January will also be the start of the harvest.
Yeah.
Of 5778.
Wow. See, because I remember when I saw that picture on your thing, it really struck home to me about L at even in the 7th month, and it exalts because obviously I'm into astrology quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that struck my mind straight away, and also I added up 7 and 11 makes 18, which is 9.
Yes.
And that's also quite a divine number, isn't it? It's about resurrection and the cycle and stuff. So that also struck my mind when I looked at that picture.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the reason is why it is so divine is that it creates exactly that particular ratio within the pyramid.
Yeah.
That you have this phi pi approximation.
Yeah. You see the Fibonacci sequence. Obviously, I know it in its simple form. It's a sequence in where the numbers. Sorry, let me repeat this. The Fibonacci is a sequence in numbers in which each of the next number is equal to the sum of the two previous numbers. So
Correct.
obviously 0 and 1 makes 0, 1 and 1 makes 2, 2 and 1 makes 3, 3 and 5 makes 8, and so on. And that also corresponds with musical notes and many other things. Is there any other thing you can elaborate on the whole Fibonacci sequence?
I would like to add first one thing.
Yeah.
There's one other sequence, which is, I think, just as important, if not more important.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same as the Fibonacci sequence. Instead of starting with 1, 1, it starts with 2, 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
and that sequence is called the Lucas sequence.
Ah, okay. Lucas refers to Lucifer, isn't it? The light bearer.
In this case, they say that it is after the one who thought it up. But you never know.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
never
Sorry.
know.
Carry on, brother. Anyway.
These two sequences, they are the basis of everything.
Yeah.
They are not only working together, they are interlaced with each other.
Yeah.
Meaning that, I will explain you in a moment.
Okay. Fair
The
enough.
numbers itself, I will first explain you the Lucas number
Yep.
and the Lucas sequence and why it is more important than the Fibonacci sequence.
Yep.
If you put all the Lucas numbers, if you calculate them,
Yep.
and you take you put them in a circle in the first 60 numbers, because it's a cycle which repeats every 60, so you only need the first 60 numbers.
Yep.
The Fibonacci, sorry, the Lucas numbers are directly connected with Phi.
Yep.
Meaning, if I have Lucas, the third, so let's say the 12th Lucas number,
Yep.
it is Phi to the power 11. It's the sequence without -1. So the Phi powers and the Lucas numbers are directly related.
Okay.
Yes? If I have Phi to the power 18, that's the 19th Lucas number. That number, it's 5,787. It's the temperature of the sun,
Oh
the
wow.
photosphere. So the Lucas numbers and the Phi ratios are directly connected with each other.
Wow. You see, you just mentioned the sun, and I remember talking to you last time, and you said something about through, is it trigonometry, you can measure how far the sun is. Could you explain a bit about that?
Through trigonometry, it is not so difficult.
Yeah.
If you have a sextant, for example, you can measure the distance. That's how our ancestors calculated everything.
Yeah.
The thing is that we are no longer used to work with instruments,
Yeah.
or believe our instruments.
Yeah.
You know as well as I do that people have a lot of difficulty accepting truth when their instruments are telling them that the surface of the Earth is flat. The sun temperatures are at 5,787 degrees, which is a power of 5, because everything is power of 5.
Yeah.
This number is very important because the Hebrew calendar itself starts the year 5,787 on the 21st of September. This number, it's the largest Lucas number, which is hexagonal and triangular. I don't know if you know that within mathematics you can also create triangular and rectangular forms, shapes. Our entire universe is shaped in that particular grid.
Yep.
Our universe works on harmonics.
Okay.
The sun works on harmonics. It is a very harmonic number. It is a Phi ratio. It is hexagonal. It is triangular.
Okay. You see, where you saying we could measure the distance of it.
You
see, obviously, they say when the sun in the summer at the Tropic of Cancer, they say it's further away from the Earth, and at the Tropic of Capricorn is closest to the Earth.
Correct.
Have you done any experiments yourself to test these?
No, to be honest, I have not.
Yeah.
I have not, no.
Yeah. Okay, because I know they call that aphelion and perihelion. There's two different names, but that's all. That concept is also on the heliocentric model as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
Oh, we were talking about the Fibonacci sequence,
Yeah,
sorry, and the Lucas sequence.
yeah,
Those numbers together work together and create all other numbers in existence. They
yeah.
are interlaced. All of our universes are interlaced. Like the Emerald Tablets say, that the all is even bigger and greater than the all that we know.
Wow.
Because everything is interlaced, numbers is interlaced.
Yeah,
For me, I see the numbers as a microcosm from this reality that we live in, which is a microcosm.
yeah.
If you understand the language, and our problem is that we have not been taught the language.
Definitely, brother. I can honestly say in this last 3 years, like since I've been researching and looking in etymology and stuff,
Yes.
when you understand language and numbers and stuff, you can understand anything literally, and it's so powerful. Like also as well, I find that when you know a few different languages, you can connect. You can connect the languages and see how they all do come from the one source as well.
Yes, I speak different languages as well.
Yeah,
I speak Dutch, English, German, Spanish, Catalan, and some French.
yeah,
And so, to make the connections, to make the bridges between the languages, um, the more you already know, the easier it is to make the bridges.
definitely, definitely. It's because like my background, I'm Turkish, so
Yes.
I was like looking up like words like obviously for, like the devil in Turkish is Shaitan, so that's almost the same as Saturn or Satan,
Yes.
and there's loads, and also the word for fire is Atesh, and I know in ancient Egypt they used to call the sun Aten. So it's the S and the N just changed around. There's loads of them. Also, they call a forefather, and in Turkish they will say Atam, ATAM, which is also similar to atom. So, and once you look into all this, and then it's amazing knowledge, and I love it. And especially talking to people like yourself who are quite knowledgeable about these things is brilliant.
Yes, like you asked me before, Thoth did send towards to all parts of the world his people to hope that we would understand and revive this knowledge.
Yeah,
The only thing what I have understood is that it has been corrupted, it has been taken over.
definitely, definitely.
In this case, the Vatican is ruling as the Trismegistus, having the keys to the heavenly gate
Wow.
and not letting us in.
Yeah. It's mad how they will kind of in the mainstream they will kind of play down this kind of knowledge, but behind the doors they obviously use the knowledge to stay in power and keep us below them.
All
It's such
sacred knowledge,
hypocrisy.
all occult knowledge comes from Egypt.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if the Rosicrucians or the Teutonic Knights or the
yeah,
Freemasonries. But those are even the smaller orders.
yeah. Have
The
you read the book, The Hiram Key, Eric?
the hierarchy, no,
The
sorry,
Hiram Key.
no.
It's a book by Christopher Lomas. No, Christopher Knight and Robert Lomas. It's called Pharaohs, the Freemasons, and the Discovery of the Secret Scrolls of Jesus. And basically, what it is it's about these two guys, and they kind of infiltrate the Freemasons to find out like where all their traditions come from, and they talk about like the Gnostics and like the Egyptians, and it talks about like the Hyksos kings, how they went to Egypt and kind of they used uh, the worship of Mars to form their religion and stuff. It's a really interesting book. I don't know if you've read it.
No, no.
Yeah, I'll pass you a link to it anyway. But I've read about stuff regarding the Freemasons getting their stuff from Egypt in this book as well.
I think the Freemasons have a too big name.
Yeah.
I think
It's too general, you mean?
yes,
Yeah,
yes. It's
obviously
not
there's different
the elite
sects.
clubs that are
Yeah.
those of course they are doing their work and they are how do you call it? It's like a machine organized running, but they are not the one in charge.
Of course, of course.
Yes.
See, this is
So if you have the order of the of Garter, yeah, what the Queen of England is part of, those orders are running the show.
yeah, yeah. You
Uh,
see these orders you're talking about. Uh, are they anything to do with so-called? Because like you got people like David Icke who talks about like them being reptilians and all this kind of stuff and whatever. And obviously, I don't know how to take that personally. I don't see them as literal lizards or snakes, but um, the way I would translate that is maybe they have a reptilian way of thinking in the sense that they're cold-blooded. That's the only way I'd look at it. And also, I've heard stuff of how through researching flat Earth and stuff, how supposedly there are different races, like like the Nordics and
mhm.
the Real Society and stuff like that. Do you know much about that?
Not as much as I would like to.
Yeah,
Of course, I know, yeah.
because there's supposed to be like a sacred bloodline. That's why
That's
they all
also
have
what I
connections
think.
and
That's
stuff.
also why all of these nobilities are having sex with each other, with their own family.
Yep,
Yes, the nephew and niece getting married. That's normal
yep.
because
They want
they
to
need
keep
to
the
keep
blood
it in their
pure.
bloodline.
Yep, yep. I understand that, brother.
So,
But
and also
going back.
within the royal family, but it is the nobility. We're living in an aristocracy. They
Yeah,
still think that they are the ones who've been given the right to rule.
yep. They're basically playing the role of the creator. Basically, that's what they're
Uh,
trying to do.
yes, yes, and they're playing a very, very sneaky
Yeah,
role. I will give you an example. If you donate to the Red Cross, have you got any idea to who you will donate?
exactly,
It
exactly.
is the Queen of England.
Wow.
If you donate to the Salvation Army, do you have any idea to who you donate?
Yeah, no, but people.
It is the Rothschilds.
Wow.
It is the one who's printing the money, who owns all the banks.
Yep.
So they have the in this case, for example, like the Rothschilds, they have the financial input, but also the output.
Yeah. Wow. I also heard that you was talking about how they go on like they control the world, but they're not the ones actually controlling it.
Not
Obviously,
the,
we don't
but
know who does, but what ideas do you have on who do? Are they? We do. Obviously, we don't see these people. Where do you think these people are? Where do they reside? Or this is what I'm saying. Like, is it a spiritual thing rather than an actual set of people?
I think that in the end we're not run for the brains of behind this plan, and things are planned more than 100, 150, 200 years in
Of
advance.
course.
Who has the time to wait? If you have a physical body, it isn't interesting.
Yep.
So this is interdimensionally,
Wow.
and that's how they work.
Yep.
All of if you're talking about, for example, the Salvation Army,
Yep.
it is a church and a military, because every church is a military.
Yep. They're all connected.
Yeah, but also churches and military, because in the Salvation Army, yeah, we have somebody here in the Salvation Army is a major. So they are military. All of the orders, like the Order of Garter, etc., they're military orders.
Yeah.
All of them.
Wow.
So that's important to know that they're military.
Yeah,
And it's church because you donate. You donate to a church.
yeah,
You
wow.
donate to the Salvation Army. It is a church. You can also it's they serve. It's a service that they give. It's a church.
Yeah. Is it Albert Pike who, I think has a book? I think it's Albert Pike. He's a Freemason, and I was reading an article. I think there's a video, but there's an article about it where it was written so many years ago, but he was explaining what's going on today, basically, and that reminded me of what you just said about how things are advanced in a couple of years, couple of 100 years in advance.
Yes, and if you were living, and let's say you're 30 years old, what kind of interest do you have for what is happening in 200 years or 150 years?
Yeah,
None.
yeah,
So for me, yeah, it doesn't add up.
wow. It's crazy stuff. Sometimes when I look into these kind of things, sometimes I find it so refreshing and exciting. But on the other hand, it's
But you,
also so painful knowing that these people are doing these things, and when you try and explain to people, people
Mhm.
don't want to know, and they think you're crazy, or and even with this whole flat Earth thing, like it's so mad at how people, the way people react to it. I mean, it's just, I don't get why it's so hard to. I do get it. It's obviously people who have cognitive dissonance. They've been brainwashed from a young age, so it's hard for them to fathom a new idea.
yes.
But the way they make it sound is that it's really complicated. When really, I think the geocentric model just simplifies everything, and it makes everything make much more sense than it already does.
Yes, it clarifies everything.
Yeah. When did you start looking into flat Earth or the geocentric model? Has it been a long time, or did you also get into it through the recent emergence that happened?
I was very against it in the beginning, and
Wow.
of course because I was also working on my astrology. I was working on archaeocryptography, which is working with GPS coordinates from locations of megalithic
Yep.
sites. So for me, until Santos Bonacci started talking about it, and of
Yep.
course I was following his work as well.
Yep.
And then I thought, okay, let's look into it.
Yeah. And the
And
more you look in, the more it makes sense, isn't it?
I also must confess that I have really learned to know what cognitive dissonance is by my own experience.
Exactly.
Because normally, if I had 10 different sources of proof, which without any doubt explain you that the Earth is not a ball and that we're not moving, and it's still not enough, and you still need extra and more, it says something about your state.
Yeah, of course, totally. I totally agree. But
So yes, I do understand.
yeah, it's also. So I would say I got into it like. So it's so mad. You know what's really funny, Eric? Do you know who Graham Hancock is?
Yes.
Yeah, in 2000, see, I got into a lot of this kind of knowledge through him. A friend introduced me to his work, and I really got into his work. He did a lot of stuff on Egypt and it being aligned with Orion's belt and stuff like that. And I went to see him do a live show in London, and it was a great show. And at the end, he started talking about how we should be spending more money to help NASA so they can block meteorites and stuff like this. And it was so crazy that literally a week or two after that, I started researching flat Earth through Santos again, because again I was following his work and I saw it on his page. And what it's weird. I always say to people, once I started looking at it, it didn't really shock me because everything I was watching made sense. But it's just people again, people who argue with me, they argue, but they haven't done no research. You get what I mean about how
Yes,
things
but
work
it
and
also makes sense. We live in a dominion. As clearly explained,
yeah,
a dominion is a circle. We live in a
yep,
circuit.
yep,
You have an electrical circuit. It needs to be closed. Yeah, we live in an electrical circuit.
yep,
The only thing is there is a constant current. That's why the wind is always blowing.
yep,
We don't need two poles because if I if I open my water the water here, it will flow out, and you will say, yeah, there's another pressure. Yeah, that means that we're in the same system.
yep,
Although we are already connected, it's already a circle, and that's why we can't understand it. That's also why we can't understand anything about phi or the golden ratio,
yep,
because then we will understand how it works, because
yep,
it works together with magnetism, and everything is on phi ratio and phi power based.
definitely. As you
And
just mentioned, magnetism as well, which is another main subject that we're going to talk about. Yeah, if you want, you can just lead into that while you're talking about this.
yes, magnetism is of course very important to understand. I don't know if people have seen the work of Ken Wheeler. uh,
I have.
I think he does the best work in explaining it.
Brilliant, yeah.
um, he understands it better than I do, but I received the same education. I also received field equations, etc. at school, so I understand how it works.
Yeah.
I have received hydraulic and pneumatica at
Yeah.
school. Everything is pressure based. The complete system is pressure based.
Yeah. He explains that there's no such thing as gravity. It's just movement
And there's
of
no such thing as particles. It's a field.
yeah.
In a field, there is no existence of particles.
Yeah.
You work with vectors, etc.
Yeah. He was explaining how it's just a movement towards counter space, basically.
Yes.
And like that's why, like with if you get two magnets, he was saying obviously if you put south and south, it will be force and motion because it's going away from each other. Whereas if it's north and south, it's acceleration and inertia, which goes to the dielectric. It's the dielectric, isn't it? Inertia
Yes.
and acceleration, yeah. And force and motion is the magnetism.
Yes.
But yeah, if you want to elaborate on that, because
It's important to understand because it connects correctly, connect 100% with the pyramids and how it works. That's what they're trying to explain us.
yeah,
Magnetism, our entire creation, everything you see works on magnetism.
yeah,
Where there's magnetism, there's electricity. Where there's electricity, there's magnetism. As Nikola Tesla clearly states that he discovered the rotating magnetic field.
yeah,
He didn't invent it.
yeah,
It doesn't. What means if he discovers it that it's already there?
yeah. He's like he's bringing it back to the attention of people, I suppose, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Meaning we are already in a magnetic rotating field. He discovered it,
Yeah,
and that's also why everything above our heads this is spinning
yep,
through this magnetic rotating field, because everything we see is light. You can bend light with magnetism.
yeah,
So that's also why we see it explains what is happening above your head. And there is, in this field where we are, in this pressure-based field, there is enough energy to go around. And we can connect through this energy by harmonics. That's what the pyramid explains us.
yep,
If we understand harmonics, and that's exactly the thing that's been taken out of our education, how many people still know music, or how that works, really works.
You see what you were saying about how humanity is kind of fallen because we don't associate ourselves with these type of things, like the old ancient civilizations like China and just say the Babylonians or Sumerians or whoever. They built structures of pyramids and these certain shapes because as humans, we naturally attract to them because we're of the same archetype, if that
Yes.
makes sense. So
But
when we see them things, we can relate to them because, like, we all come from the one, basically. That's what I'm trying to get at.
yes, and what they've done is within the pyramids, etc. They used universal language.
Yeah,
And that's why it doesn't matter which language you speak. Everybody is able to decode it. Everybody who understands math.
yeah,
Ratios. It doesn't matter in what dimension something is built. The ratios are always the same.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. You can't change the ratios.
Definitely, because they were saying this is why there's a lot of diseases and stuff like that now, because we're not in sync with nature and its shapes and its patterns. So
The word itself already says this is.
dis-ease. Yeah, exactly. Basically, the word tells you itself.
You're not at ease.
Exactly.
So yes, correct.
Yeah.
And that's also exactly what they want. They want to have us out of sync. These temples, like the pyramids, put us back into sync.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
That's also why Thoth states in his Emerald Tablets to go there.
Have you been, brother?
I have been there twice
Oh,
last
wow.
year, and I have
Wow.
laid me down in the sarcophagus as
Wow.
instructed. Yes.
Wow. See, a relative of mine just come back from Egypt, and I was saying that's one place that hopefully someday I would love to go and visit, because I know it's with me. Like, you see, you're quite good with the mathematical side of things, and I know everything's connected as well. But with me, I'm more into I'm into everything, but I would say I'm a bit more like into the transcendent, like a bit more like what Santos, like that kind of stuff. I would say I kind of lean more towards that, but everything's connected anyway. So
anything is connected.
Yeah.
The thing is that numbers and signs are only there to explain religion.
Basically, yeah.
And the thing is that a lot of people, due to scientism, have a bad view about science, while science and religion, they go both hand
They're
in
the same
hand.
thing in sense, not in. They're the same thing in the sense that they're both dogmatic. Because if you don't believe what they say, then you'll be criticised or looked down on. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I don't care what people think. I use religion, and religion I mean a book, let's say the Bible or whatever kind of scripture. That's for me religion.
Yeah.
It's knowledge that I take that I assimilate and
Use for your own advantage.
And if I only would read scripture and know science, I wouldn't have a complete understanding.
Of course,
The
you gotta
same
know
thing is the
everything.
other way around. You have to
Exactly,
combine them.
Yep, definitely, I agree.
And as you know, that we have been lied to about the flat Earth.
Yep.
We have been lied to about our ancestors. We have been lied to about our history.
Yeah.
The ones who built the pyramids were far advanced as we are nowadays.
Of course, because they can't. I've heard many times that they can't recreate them type of structures in this day and age.
And not only this, but also the information which they have encompassed in the pyramids themselves, when they decoded, is very valuable. They understood the speed of light. We only know that the speed of light so accurate, I think, since 1983.
Yeah.
And they knew it thousands of years ago. They even built a pyramid,
Yeah.
which we can't, as you already said, reconstruct. So they had knowledge far advanced as ours, and that's important to know. And the Great Pyramid is, of course, it is not one equation, because it's one big equation, and we're solving at this moment little part, piece by piece, and by doing so, receiving a better understanding. So I haven't decoded it all, but received a very better understanding of how the system works. It explains you how the universal language works.
Yep.
and that's exactly what they've taken from us.
Yes,
Taken the basics to understand. If you take the basics out of the educational system, then and moreover than that, then, or don't give it or replace it with lies, people will never be able to advance. They're taking out the competition before you can even be competition. I'll give you an example. My brother studied chemistry at university, and before that, of course, at high school as well. So he had in total 12 years of chemistry.
Yep.
When I asked him the question if he was able to tell me why the periodic table of elements is called a periodic table, he was not able to answer me the question.
Yeah.
He was a degree of engineer, so university degree. How is it possible that you don't know the basics of the basics? It is a periodic table of elements.
Elements, and hence L.
Yes.
As well, yeah, because I was watching something about that earlier. How also the four, like the four cardinal points on the zodiac wheel are like obviously so like fire, which is Aries, would be nitrogen, and then I was watching it earlier. So you got nitrogen, hydrogen, which is water, and then oxygen. And so it's hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and I've got a brain freeze now.
Yeah, no problem.
But I was watching it earlier, and there was about the periodic table and how, like in the old cosmology, how the seven chakras are like the planets. So it goes the moon, Mercury,
yes,
Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, and so on. And apparently all the elements actually go in that order. I don't know if you're aware of that.
The thing is that I don't know if you know Walter Russell's. He has a periodic. Doesn't call it a table, but a periodic. I think schema of elements.
Yeah.
You will see that it is octaves.
Yep.
Everything is in octaves. It also would explain the silicon trees, etc., because it is exactly one octave above the carbon.
Yeah.
We are carbon based. So it's all frequency. It's all period.
Yeah.
It is the swing of the pendulum to the left and the swing to the pendulum of the right, and everything vibrates on its own frequency.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing knowledge, man. So I can sit here and talk about stuff like this all day and all night. But is there anything else you wanted to touch upon, brother, before we leave?
Yeah, what is important to know, of course, with the understanding of magnetism is that you can, through magnetism, manipulate life.
Yeah.
You can also use it for medical purposes, as explained. If you use the correct pole, one stagnates growth, the other one accelerates growth.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, very important also if you have cancer or whatever. It's all one. We live in a universe. It's one universal way that everything runs, and it is through Phi-Ratio, the golden ratio, and powers of, which are connected to the Lucas sequence, and of course to the Fibonacci sequence.
Wow.
And as soon as we receive understanding of this, because instruments are the same built in Fibonacci sequence, in the golden ratio, otherwise they will not work. All the churches and cathedrals are built through sacred geometry, of secret geometry, because it's the same thing.
Also the bones of your body as well.
As well. in a church is an instrument. See it as a violin. The only thing is that in this case, the instrument makes the music from the inside, and you're inside of the instrument sitting, and it's radiating out of outside. Huh?
Yeah.
That's why you have so beautiful sound in the churches,
Yeah.
because it's all based on the correct ratio.
Wow.
The elite use it. They are sitting in these churches and in these castles, etc., built on these ratios. We not, because they know that it's better for your health.
So I love finding out little gems like this, like about how they build certain things in the churches to get a certain sound or vibration.
And for us to understand that we have to work on harmonics also within electricity, etc., on powers of Phi, in this way we can, how do you call it, harness the energy of the sun.
Just touch it up on the sun.
Yes.
Since I've been looking into flat earth and stuff, I've come across many different, how can I say, people say that the heat comes from like a magnetic pole in the center of the earth and the sun is what projects it. Some people say it's a ball of fire, or obviously that's more on the heliocentric stuff, but I know obviously we don't know because we can't go to the sun to see what it is, or obviously we can feel it, but what is your overview on what the sun is? I know it's a bit of a vast topic.
No, it is not so difficult for me to explain it. I see the sun as the ether, which is at that point vibrating at a high ratio.
Yeah.
It is the ether. It is nothing physical there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
like
is a
the
vibration.
Rainbow, basically. The rainbow is not physical, is it?
The rainbow is not physical either. No.
Yeah.
That's also why sometimes you have a beautiful rainbow around the sun.
Yeah.
So it is nothing physical, no.
It's just a projection, would you say? It projects energy, a high radiance energy. Or
the sun is connected with the equator. The equator already says it is an equator. It equates.
Yep. Wow. Yep. See, I didn't look at it in that
That's
way.
also why it goes the same degrees south as north.
The tropics. Basically, yeah.
So, the sun is nothing more than the end result of the equation.
Wow.
Let's put it that way.
Wow, that's lovely. See, I've never thought of it in that way. I've never thought of it in that way. That's really good. You see, like the moon and the sun, they're given also like female and male energies.
Yes, sun, male, female, the moon, Mona, Luna.
Yeah, but also I've heard that people have said that the moon can also, you know, like you've got like the people say the sun, because it shines light, it's also seen as like female because it radiates, whereas the moon's light is more direct, so it's seen as male. How would you disagree with that? Or because obviously they say that one thing is not also one thing, it's polarized as well.
No, in this case, their representation in all the occult is that one is masculine, that's the sun, and the moon is feminine. And the thing is that we need to combine them. They represent our left and our right brain. And the end of the story of all the occultism is finding the balance between both of them.
Yep, of course. The yin and yang, basically.
The yin and yang, and that's also what they represent. So maybe you can say within the yin and yang there's also a smaller white and a black dot. And there's always a mixture. But they represent polarity.
Yep, definitely. Yep, I totally understand that. I totally get where you're coming from.
Yes. Yeah, we live in a cell, and there's a there's a constant current. We're in movement. Everything is in movement. You can't stop it.
Yep.
And this movement we can tap in, and not only the movement itself, but the ether itself.
Yep.
And to understand the ether, everything works on harmony. If something radiates, it radiates in its own harmony. If the sun shines on something and you see a color back, then that's the frequency of that particular material
Yep.
color. So sorry, I got out of my.
That's okay. We was talking about the ether.
Yes, it's for us. The thing is also the ether. It's no longer in our education, and if it is in our education, they claim that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
For us, understanding the ether, everything works in harmony. A light bulb radiates in its own harmony. Everything must be harmonic.
Yeah.
If you have an antenna, the more harmonic it is, the better it receives.
Yeah.
And our ether is full of energy. Just take a look at how many energy is transmitted into the ether by radio stations.
Yeah.
And then we're not even talking about what ether has itself. The only thing is we do it with disharmony, and disharmony costs energy. If you do it with harmony, you will receive energy. Mathematical equations explain us this harmony, where to find this harmony, how to create this harmony. That's what they build into the pyramids.
Wow.
And that's what you can find on my website.
Just want to say, brother, thanks a lot for your time. I've really enjoyed this show because, again, like I said before, these are subjects that I've looked into. But once I spoke to you and I knew we was going to do this show, I've looked into them more and I've learnt so much more new things. And I feel like every time I speak to someone, it's like I'm adding one more block to something I'm building. Do you get what I mean?
But that's exactly how it works. And all the knowledge that we have, it is blocks, and we received it from somebody else.
Exactly.
And never be proud of your knowledge, because we're just standing on the shoulders of other people.
Definitely.
Who done all the work for us. And I have the same thing. It is like a puzzle. It is like fulfilling your own puzzle. Your darkness is where the pieces are missing, and you have to look for the pieces. And you will find them and complete your own puzzle to get clarity and get into the light.
Brother, the analogy you made couldn't have been more spot on, brother. I totally agree. And this is also, like where you were saying, the pieces of the darkness. And this is what I was saying in a couple of shows back about the flat earth. Like, we can see it because we've seen all the pieces to the puzzle, but other people can't see it because they haven't
looked at it.
Yeah, and also they've got that darkness in their bit. So once they fill in them bits of darkness, they will see the puzzle. And I explained that in another show actually, and that's a perfect analogy you made.
Yes, thank you.
No problem, brother. Before we go, just to get once again, let the people know your group on Facebook and your personal page, and if you have an email, if you want people to get in contact with you, and just how people can look at your work, basically.
Okay. My Facebook site, it's Erik Schellekens.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Pyramid Method Magicians and Wizards on Facebook. My email address is erik.schellekens@msn.com.
Yeah.
All of my work is on Facebook for everybody able to see, because it's all open. Questions can always be asked. Send me an email, send me a private message, or just reply on the post itself. One thing maybe to know, behind a lot of my pictures, I have posted other pictures or other things to explain sometimes what I'm trying to explain with my specific post.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Like I said as well, we've definitely got to connect another time, and we'll do another show regarding another subject, because there's so many things we can talk about. and it will be great to do another show one time. I've always said to every one of my guests, one day I want to do a show where there's like 3 or 4 of us that are all researching different things, and we can all interchange ideas and syncretize all the knowledge we have together, and I think that would be brilliant. So, if I make that happen, I'll definitely invite you, brother, because you've got some very good knowledge, and that would be a great show if we could get like me, you, and 2 other people, and just we can all bring our ideas to the table and just connect them.
Yeah, very good idea. And I'm open for that, of
Definitely,
course.
brother.
Thank you so much for the talk today.
No, it's a pleasure. I just want to thank you for being patient with me to do this, because we spoke almost a month ago, and obviously we couldn't do it straight away, but we've managed to do it. And definitely, brother, I would definitely want to keep in touch and do more shows. And even if there's something that you want to talk about and you want to get it out there and you need a medium, just feel free to contact me, brother, and we can do a show about it, man. Because at the same time, it's just all, like we said, we're just collecting them blocks to build our building, and it's a lovely thing.
Yes, it is, and we're all doing it together. Thank you so much.
No problem, Erik, and yeah, thanks a lot, and I really appreciate it. Take care, brother.
Cheers. Till next time.